That's right. It's the Joes back again. It's your main man Ali on the ones and twos with my man Dave. No Tonio Allen. What's going on, Dave?
Hey, how's it going? How's it going?
Man, doing all right today. I was just telling you a minute ago, just finished working out, working up a little bit of a sweat, so I'm ready. I'm ready to rock and roll for the people tonight, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I didn't work out today. It was a little off day, but
Yeah.
I did sign. I'm moving apartments soon. I got approved a couple of days ago, so
Okay.
I'm on my hot horse too.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I tell you what, I
Feeling
hate
good.
moving, man. You start moving, you find out you got more stuff than you thought, and you're like, man,
Right.
what I'm gonna do with all this?
Right. I didn't know I needed all these boxes. I
Nah,
thought I had enough. I ain't
for
using
real.
many boxes when I moved
I got
in.
the small U-Haul. What's going on? Oh man, what's all? Are you just moving? Are you just getting a better place, or just close to work, or?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Getting a better place, more modern,
Okay.
a little more up to date. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. Well, listen, folks, we're gonna make this a quick show for you tonight. Got some great stuff we want to go over, but as always, we always want to thank the listeners. Thank you for coming back and supporting us. I just want to ask you guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and be interactive. We're here to answer your start-sit questions, or any just advice you may need, or just random questions or whatnot. We're here for that. You can follow us and find us on Instagram at the Avg Joes Fantasy Football Podcast. That is an underscore between each word, and also on Facebook, the Avg Joes Fantasy Football Podcast. We are starting up the listener league. It's not quite full just yet. I believe we have 3 spaces left, so first come, first serve. If you're interested, go ahead and drop your email and comments here, and you will be added to our listener league. Again, we got 3 spots left, so come on and join if you want to have a little fun with us this year and win some prizes. With it having been said, man, yeah, we're going to go ahead and jump into the show. We're going to make it real quick tonight, no fluff. We're going to do a little news and notes here, and then we're going to go over our round 2 rookie rankings. There is one thing, Dave, I am kind of excited about before we jump into it. I've been working on a couple of new segments that I want to start rolling out here on top of some of the ones we had from last year. I think it's going to be real fun. Now, I have to tread lightly and carefully with you because I know you don't watch a whole lot of TV, but have you seen the Chappelle Show?
Yes, absolutely.
So you watched this before. I know you haven't seen Dumb and Dumber, so I have to ask.
Yeah, I've seen Chappelle Show. I'm on that one.
All right. So what I want to do is a segment that's called Yeah, Okay, What? So what we're going to do with that is it's almost like marry, dump, chill kind of a thing, where what's going to be the player that you don't like. Okay is he's all right. This is what I think, and yeah is going to be the one you really like. So we'll try that coming up here. Then also want to do a segment. This kind of actually kind of spit on this from another show. I just like it so much. I think we should do it. It's a role play segment where we'll take a person and you'll get to be that person. You'll get to tell what that person is thinking about their situation, as if you're that guy. So if I say, hey, you're Tom Brady, what do you think about them drafting Jarrett Stidham? You would go on whatever rant you would go on as if you were Tom Brady.
Oh.
Yeah. I think it's really fun, really funny. I think I like that, and we'll try that in some of the upcoming shows here. But tonight, no new stuff. We're just going to go ahead and jump into the news and notes, and there's not a whole lot of news and notes. Really, overall, I think that what we had been watching, unretiring from the NFL, going back to the Patriots. Now, the Patriots are they're really good for not wasting money. I'm not saying he's a waste of money, but $3 million for Ben Watson. What did you think about that move?
It's your normal everyday Patriots move to go get a vet. He's going to come in. He's going to do exactly what they need him to do. But as far as fantasy goes, it didn't really excite me anywhere. ASJ is there, so I think that's going to be their athletic guy. But Watson's going to be in there for blocking purposes. He's going to be in there to make those good plays as far as for the actual team goes.
Yeah. I actually picked up ASJ as a flyer in one of my leagues, and I was hoping. I've been hearing people maybe say that maybe this might cut into possibly some of his production. The Patriots did not go after a tight end in the draft, which was kind of telling. I mean, I guess that means they have a little bit of faith in what ASJ can do. Of course, Ben Watson coming back gives them that blocking, that veteran presence. He knows the Patriot way because he's been there before, so we'll see. Outside of that, Rod Smith signed with the New York Giants, and a couple of guys this week got popped for PEDs. Patrick Peterson today came down and got popped for PEDs, and he'll be out for, I think, 6 games. But I don't know if that's really a whole lot. Do you have any news you want to talk about?
Other than, I did kind of want to bring up, one, I think we already knew this. Kyle Shanahan talking about, they're going to use all 3 of the running backs there in San Francisco. I think we had already kind of discussed that. And there was another one that, if it comes in my head,
we've been discussing Adam Gase a little bit there, how he did not want to sign Le'Veon Bell. He didn't want to pay big money for any running back. But that's a great way to start off your tenure there. But now the superstar of the team, he just paid $13 million a year to, I didn't really want you. Great start.
Just in case you didn't know, I feel like for us to really take a next step, I need to tell you this.
Right.
I've been on my mind.
Right. Oh my gosh, you've been making fun of it.
Well, that actually brings up what I was trying to say. I saw somebody, they made a little thread, a little headline. They were asking if they should be worried about their Quincy Enunwa shares because the general manager for the Jets is now fired, was the one that was so keen on keeping Enunwa. And we see that Gase is coming in doing whatever he's doing. He loves Jamison Crowder and what have you. So he's wondering if he should keep Enunwa, if he should sell Enunwa, how confident he should feel in those shares of Quincy.
My honest opinion on the whole situation is I'm not that keen on any of the
anybody
catchers. I guess it just comes down to what are you dropping him for? Are you packaging him in a deal? Are you just dropping him to drop him? He's not just a droppable player. You would keep him to see what happens, but are you dropping him for somebody on waivers? Like who? Maybe like ASJ maybe. Is probably not out there right now, but or is there a handcuff for you or something like that? But even with that, I think I would still sit back and see what happens. I'm not a big believer in Adam Gase. I don't know if much at all is going to happen with the offense. You got some redundancy there with him and Jamison Crowder. So then you got Bell, who's kind of a pass-catching back, as much as Gase may not like him. And we kind of make fun. I think I said that, Gase is going to go out and trade for Gore, Frank Gore, and now it's going to be co-starters with Bell. But no, they paid him a ton of money, so now they got to get the money out of him. So I'm assuming he'll take up at least 70% of the snaps, and he catches a lot of passes. I don't know. Then they got Herndon there, who's coming on the end of the year. You got, Rodney Anderson, not Rodney, Anderson.
Yeah, that was it, Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson, the deep threat. I guess we'll see. So no, I'll tell them to stay put unless there's something really appealing out there to pick up. All right, let's go ahead and talk about these rookie rankings now. To kind of recap, man. You and I differed a lot on a couple of players. And I think one of the main ones was T.J. Hawkinson and Marquise Brown. So you have Marquise Brown as a mid-first rounder. And I did find out a little bit more about his injury. He does have the Liz Frank injury. And that Liz Frank injury is the tendon in the arch of your foot. So without it, you can't run, you can't jump, you can't push off. It's a lot like the Achilles. And, again, I think they drafted him knowing his progression and thinking maybe, I don't know if he's going to be ready for the beginning of the year or not, but they were comfortable with it. So that gives you a little bit more confidence. But at the same time, it's a major injury. That's something that can pop and have a problem again. Are you still willing to take Marquise Brown in the first round?
I am. He's moved down to 11 for me, but I still am you run the risk of, I think I saw somebody today talking about he's going to be on IR for the whole first season, which is possible.
Yeah.
With this injury, it's quite possible, but you also have the possibility of him being one of the only rookie receivers that are going to start. If they're healthy, he's starting. He doesn't have competition. So you just, in a vacuum, it comes down to if you want to wait out that risk, and if you trust Lamar, and if you can get past those two, I think that Marquise is going to be the guy you're going to have to take there in the first round. Because if you want him, you're not going to get him later.
Right. You're going to have to go ahead and take him still. Right. Even if he ends up missing a significant portion of the season, he's been talked up so much where I think you have to take him in the first round if that's your target. So, okay. All right, good. Just want to kind of get your thoughts on that. And I had someone else, I heard another podcast saying what they were doing there in Baltimore is they really wanted to get fast. He's very fast, as I'm not mistaken. Oh my goodness, Boykin was really fast. They got Justice Hill. I actually heard the footballers say they think Justice Hill could start over Mark Ingram. I have a hard time seeing that. I think he's probably more of a change of pace. They didn't really they let go of Montgomery. If I'm not mistaken, they let go of your guy
Buck.
Buck Allen. So now they don't really have much of a pass catching back. I think he can come in and fulfill that role for the offense. But starting over Mark Ingram, when they just went out and they targeted him in free agency and paid him, I guess, decent money for a running back, I have a hard time seeing that. But I guess we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard the same thing, and when I was listening to I'm like you. It was kind of hard for me to believe in that, but at the same time, it was kind of biased because I was very excited for Mark Ingram going there. So it's almost like I don't want to believe it. So you'll see when it comes around.
Yeah, what a great thing. Well, okay. So it sounds like we're getting ready to talk about him then. Okay, so I'll table that discussion. Just real quickly, just a couple of guys we had the first round. Me was Jacobs, Harry, Montgomery, Miles Sanders, Metcalf, Noah Fant, Kyler Murray, Deebo Samuel, Irv Smith, A.J. Brown, Haskins, and I'm not going to talk about the last guy. Anyhow, I think you had A.J. Brown there, Marquise Brown, T.J. Hawkinson. So we think that was kind of a few of the guys that you had in the first round. But pretty much we had some of the same guys, with the exception of I think Deebo Samuel. I don't think you had him in there. So let's go ahead and talk about our second round. I'm going to start it off this time. I'll let you start off last time. I'm going to start off with my number 13 guy, first pick of the second round, and I would go with Parrish Campbell.
Man, look at that.
Yeah. Apparently he's a perfect fit. Speed, he can take the top off. Now, I heard a really funny stat the other day. As fast as he is, he never really was a deep threat there in college. He only had like maybe 2 or 3 40-yard or more plays. But he's an underneath guy. He's a screen guy. He's a high percentage kind of pass kind of a guy that they can dump the ball off to and to see if he can do something with his speed. But a lot of people are saying that he could be the number 2 in that offense. So I like him a lot. They needed somebody else outside of T.Y. Hilton. They did bring in Devin Funless, but he's more of that red zone threat. But underneath, I think Parris Campbell can be a monster.
Absolutely, yeah. That's my number 13 guy too. They say he's been working on his route running, which is fantastic. With speed, it's something you definitely gonna need. He ran a 4.3. I think I agree with you. I think he can come in there and start. You had praise from T.Y. Hilton, of course. Hilton doesn't make the personnel changes or put different guys in lineups, but if you've got the star receiver on the team talking you up, that's always fantastic. I believe personally, I was looking through, in college, I think last year he had 90 receptions for 1,063 yards and 10 touchdowns. I believe when he plays in that offense with Andrew Luck, if he can get you, if you're looking at around 56 receptions, 600 yards, I'll take that from a rookie. And a couple touchdowns thrown in there. So I like Parris as my first pick in the second round.
Yeah. The only thing that kind of scares me off of Parrish a little bit is now they do have so many different weapons there in the offense. where it may make it difficult because traditionally Andrew Luck does not have a number 2 guy that you can count
Right.
on. I mean, I don't think we can
Absolutely.
even go back and maybe, oh gosh, I'm forgetting his name. Um, they had one guy. It was when they had Marvin
Marvin Harrison and Reggie
Harrison.
Wayne.
Yeah, it was Luck wasn't. No, that was Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
okay.
what I was. That's
So
what.
yeah, so Andrew Luck has not ever supported 2 high-end wide receivers before. So this kind of makes me think that maybe he's going to spread the ball around him more. Then you got the 2 tight ends there. You got Naeem Hines, you got
Right.
Marlon Mack,
Absolutely.
and Ty is his guy. So I don't know if he's
Yeah.
going to be a startable asset, but certainly someone to keep your eye on. And if you're in a dynasty league, it seems like he, next couple of years can take over for T.Y. Hilton.
Definitely. And with the Deion Kane hype was so real last year until he got injured, and we know now that he's not going to be ready or they're saying he's not going to be ready to maybe halfway in the year, week 4, week 5, whatever. So you really got Paris Campbell against, like you said, funless. So yeah, he should get on the field, like you said. I wouldn't feel too confident about starting him yet. You have to see how that goes, especially with Luck's track record.
Yeah.
And then another big thing is with the tight ends, as you said, with Funless being the red zone threat, how much does he get in the end zone? T.Y. Hilton is the big play, take it in the end zone. So, we'll have to see if Campbell can do that from time to time. But we'll see how it plays out getting ready around preseason.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's your number 13?
Well, my 13 was Paris as well. So
I'm sorry, 14.
14. Yeah, 14 for me was Mecole Hardman.
Okay.
The Chiefs. The big thing for me is they traded up for this guy. And everybody knows that they're trying to get that Tyreek Hill replacement. Right. That is their main goal, and they traded up to get this guy. So this is who they wanted. I saw a quote when I was going through reading. I think it was a part of the rookie minicamp. The quote says they expect him to play a bunch week 1, hence why they're throwing so much at him during the rookie camp. They expect because of his intelligence and the way he can line up all over the field, they want him to play a bunch starting from the jump. Obviously, special teams, but want to make him a part of the offense as well.
Right.
And then Andy Reid talked about him doing extremely well. Talked about how quick he learns. I saw Andy said something about he messed up a route that he was having trouble with. The very next time he ran it, he improved. The next time he ran it, he improved. And it was improvement every time. So you're hearing great things from the coach. You're hearing how much they already want to get him on the field in some sort of capacity. So I think, before too long, we'll be seeing Mecole a big role with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. I can definitely agree with that. The only thing that gives me pause is when you're trying to read between the lines of the coach speak on the off season is they mention special teams. Now, you're not going to have your Tyreek Hill gunning on the punts. Like me, this too valuable of a player. So if he's playing special teams, if they actually said that, I think at the beginning of the season he may, be their 3rd or 4th wide receiver. So he's not going to come in into that Tyreek Hill role.
It also depends. It also depends what he's doing. Tyreek Hill was returning the kicks for the Chiefs. So if that's what Hardman's doing, it's a possibility that he could be still in the offense.
Right. Absolutely. Good deal. Yeah, I like that. My number 14 was T.J. Hawkinson. Again, he fell out of the top round for me. And we've kind of spoken about him already a little bit, so I won't go too deep into him. Just don't like the landing spot. Love the talent. Don't like the fact, though, that Detroit just does not pass their tight ends. And you would think, they spent this high draft capital on him, but they also want to kind of make themselves more of a rushing team. And he was one of the best pure blockers at the tight end position coming out of the draft, on top of having the athletic ability and the hands to catch. So he's kind of the full package there, but he's also a really, really good blocker. So they likely brought him in not only to take the spot and also obviously catch and pass. Don't get me wrong. I think he'll be fine, but I'm not willing to spend the first rounder on him, knowing his landing spot. Did you have anything else about TJ?
Yeah, just going off what you said, it's hard for me to disagree with everything you said, knowing that Matthew Stafford is not big on throwing it to his tight ends. I think the ranking that I had him for in the first round is solely based off if you are looking for a big end, high end tight end at that shallow position. So I agree with you that I would be perfectly fine if he fell and I grabbed him in the second round.
Absolutely. All right, my number 15, third pick of the second round. If you are the Gurley owner, this is where you pick up Darrell Henderson. You had him too high. You had him too high. Look, first off, Gurley is getting paid CEO money. They're going to have him on the field. If he has one leg and he can hop around on one leg, they're going to give him at least 15, 16 touches a game. And the thing is, I mentioned this last time we spoke, and I actually heard someone else say this a couple of days ago, when we thought last year that John Kelly was the direct backup to Todd Gurley because of his receiving prowess, we found out later on that it's still Malcolm Brown. They like Malcolm Brown's skill set. When Gurley went out, Malcolm Brown got the first crack and looked pretty good until he went down himself. They matched the tender that was offered to Malcolm Brown, I believe from the Lions, to bring him back. So they like him. I think they have plans for him, and I still think that Darrell Henderson is more that off-pace, third down, catch the ball, get you in space kind of a guy. And I think that, don't get me wrong, if you have Gurley, you kind of got to go after this guy, just in case. But there's no guarantee he's the direct backup. So how much draft capital are you willing to spend on this?
Yeah, no,
it can't be a first rounder.
You're absolutely right. I mean, well, if you're bullish enough to take him, if you're okay with taking him at the top of the second, you got to be okay with taking him at the back of the first. It just depends on, you know what I'm saying. But at this point, it really does. It really does, and I hate to keep saying it because at some point you can't keep going off of this, but it really does depend on your team makeup. I mean, that's just what it boils down to for you being a Gurley. First of all, if you're the Gurley owner, you obviously are going to take him higher than most people. So that's first and foremost. Yeah. So then your next thing is, who else is there that I need? Because if you're in your head thinking, if you're picking 1.12 or 1.11, whatever, and it's a linear draft, it's not likely that at 2.11, right? So you just have to, you're going to have to get a field, trade up, whatever. But yes, if you have the 1.3, you can see Darryl fall to you at the 2.2, 2.3, what have you. So yeah, I'm with you there because there's, like you said, no guarantee that he is a direct backup. I also saw, I don't know if I said this last time, but he's not a very good pass blocker. And that's going to hurt him as far as getting on the field. Of course, that's something he can improve. Right. But as of right now, he's not. So some things he'll have to work on before he can think about possibly touching the football in the backfield with Gurley.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's your next guy?
Yeah, so 15 for me is a guy that I have been watching different ESPN takes, and they've been trying to get me onto this guy, and I'm like, I guess I'll rank him this high. I don't know, but it's Andy Isabella.
Oh, wow.
For the Cardinals. Okay. Yeah, I've seen some drafts where he's gone as high as the first round, and I cannot do that.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't even think that if all these guys ahead of him that I have listed ahead of him went, I still don't think I can get myself to draft him. But I put him there because opportunity, which is one big thing that we talk about. He's got great opportunity to play. In my opinion, he'll play around the second half of the first year. I think he'll get on the field. And then he also has the opportunity to grow with a young quarterback and end up being his safety net. That's the thing I kept hearing. Safety net for Kyler Murray, safety net. So not necessarily your big play guy, but and in no way am I saying he is a Wes Welker or he is a Julian Edelman, but that type of player for Murray, the little dump down. You're going to get 5 or 6 catches a game for.
Are you comparing him to Wes Welker and Julian Edelman because he's white? I mean,
I said,
what are we doing?
I said,
are there any other slot receivers that's quick and fast that we can compare them to? I'm just trying to find out what's going on here.
Those are the two.
We're just kidding, guys. We're just playing.
Those are the two that are the most dependent. If anybody did.
Why not Tyler Gabriel? Why not Tyler Gabriel?
Taylor Gabriel is also on the outside, and he's running past people.
I'm just messing. No. You're 100% correct. He's one of the fast, quick, small wide receivers. Surprised at how fast he was. I remember watching some of his highlight tapes. And again, anytime they put out highlight tapes, all you're seeing is the good stuff. But what I was seeing was he was so quick. He got behind the defense. And I remember saying to myself, if his quarterback in college wasn't horrible and underthrew the ball every single play, the dude would have scored on every single highlight. Like, he was that far. So he can take the roof off of it. He can be the safety blanket. The only reason I don't have him as a round 2 guy is because I believe he's going to be buried in a depth chart. Larry Fitz is not going. He's an icon. I don't care if he's slow and old. He's an icon in Arizona. He's going to be starting. You got also underneath going to be Christian Kirk. I think overall the talent is better there. He's going to be on the field. I guess you could put him on the outside, but I kind of see them going with Butler there. Butler's the bigger kind of a wide receiver. Yeah. They also bought this guy. Oh, gosh, I forgot his name. Yeah, they brought another guy in as well. But no, Hakeem Butler. So I could see him being, in a lot of cases, the 4th wide receiver. Now, maybe again on, in this air raid offense, you get a lot of 4 wide receiver sets, and he may get on the field maybe 30% of the time. But is that enough to really be fantasy relevant? Now, again, this is a rookie wide receiver. We know rookie wide receivers generally in the first year you're going to have to wait a year or 2 from the fully developed into what you think they're going to be. So this is likely a long play, but he has a skill set, and we'll see. We'll see. I like it. Absolutely. My number 15, we're just going to gloss over it because we already talked about him, Mecole Hardman. We already spoke about him at length. I really like him, as we already spoke about, to come in at some point and kind of take on that Tyreek Hill role. We'll just see. I think Tyreek Hill is just kind of a special player, and you won't find anybody else quite like him. But again, I think I mentioned this to you before. If he can come in and be 70% of what Tyreek was to the offense, you'll probably be pretty happy with him on your team. So
quick question just about that. The headline, I want to see what you felt about the headline that came out today about Mecole Hardman didn't play receiver until 2017.
Yeah,
it was a DB first and all that. Does that make you I saw a guy, he commented on there, he said, I'm not touching Hardman, give me DeMarcus Robinson. He doesn't even want Hardman anymore.
Wow.
I'm not that bullish. I would still like to have Hardman because, again, they traded up for this guy. But does that have do you have any concern about maybe his hands as far, they say DBs can't catch. So,
that's why they play DBs, yeah.
Right.
No, it doesn't really. Not in the rookie draft. Doesn't really give me a whole lot of, because you're talking about a lot of lottery picks. You're talking about a lot of people who have to develop. And if he's getting picked, as highly as he was, they obviously see something in him that they think that they can work with. And again, like you said, it may be kind of a work in progress. But if we're talking about route running and just getting a little more sure-handed, you just can't teach the speed that they're looking for. And if he has it, then he has it. And, all you got to do is get behind the DB. And Patrick Mahomes can put it on you. So we'll see how it works out. Again, he may not be a year 1 or week 1 contributor, but I think they may have some plans for him. Absolutely. All right. My next guy here is Hakeem Butler. We just kind of talked about these Arizona pass catchers. I think he's a big body guy. I think they want to bring Christian Kirk down to the inside of the field. I think he is the eventual full-time replacement for Larry Fitzgerald. And I think they wanted a big body guy on the outside. So I'd like to see how that develops between him and the quarterback guy. I'm having one of my senior moments.
Kyler
Murray, yes. Kyler Murray there. He can be a safety blanket too. Big guys can be safety blankets, so we could throw it up to him and hey, go get it. And Kyler Murray, a lot of people may not know. You should know by now by hearing, but he is a pretty accurate quarterback. He has a cannon of an arm, and you can see him on the run, on the fly, kind of like Russell Wilson. He can put it on the dime. So really excited to see what Hakeem Butler can do with that offense. And I've seen him go as high as the 7th pick of the first round. People are picking Hakeem Butler yes, I've seen it. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. See, I've seen the opposite spectrum. He's gone undrafted in some of my.
Was it a 2-round league? What are you talking about? Undrafted.
3 or 4 round draft.
Oh, come on.
He went undrafted. And yeah, so for me, he didn't make my round 2. And it's not, and maybe I just need to go watch some more tape, look a little bit more into him. The things that I did read, I know he's got 4.4, what was it, 4.48 speed, I think is what he had. Yeah, 4.48 40, 6.5, like you said, huge target for college. Yeah. I did see that one of the things they were talking about, he didn't have much big play ability. But when you talked about him being the replacement for Fitzgerald, Larry Fitz he doesn't really, when they throw him the ball, they're not looking for him to spin and juke you and take it 50 yards or whatever. They're just looking for strong hands, get it, safety blanket, like you said. So looking at it from that point of view, absolutely, he could definitely turn into that. And he might have to creep into my round 2, looking at it from that standpoint.
Absolutely. Who's the next guy?
Yeah, so now I'm kind of pulling one of your Daryl Henderson things. I feel like I don't want this guy right here. But I have him here, so we're just gonna keep him in. We'll go with it. Terry McLaurin, for the Redskins.
Yeah.
He was the 3rd round pick. I put him there. I said, well, I have here opportunity to start immediately. Chemistry with Haskins. He had a 4.4 40, and he's a willing blocker. I think I just got really excited about the chemistry with Haskins because looking at it and thinking about it, looking at these other guys, I don't think I would be, if I saw him there, I don't think I'm taking him with my round 2 pick. So we can chalk that up as unprepared on my part.
No, this is part of the process. When you're thinking about your rankings and you start talking about it out loud, when you start talking about it, sometimes you can change your mind. I realized last time I think I had Darrell Henderson just a little bit too high, unless, again, you're talking about being that girly owner and not coming around for, let's say you don't have a 2nd-round pick or you're in a linear draft and you just will not have a chance to come back and get him. I think the 1st round is a little bit too heavy of a price to pay for a guy who, like John Kay last year, did not see the field. I mean, it has a large range of outcomes there, and your 1st-round pick, in my opinion, is very valuable. So he has to drop to the 2nd round. So the same thing with this guy that you're talking about here. I don't have him in the 2nd round. I think that Harmon, which I have a little bit later in the 2nd round, is probably more of a guy that you may get some work out of there in Washington. But yes, the opportunity is there. There's no real pass catchers there. We already know that go of Crowder. He's gone. The other guy, senior moment again, but he doesn't really move me.
Doxson, we talked about Doxson.
Yeah, Josh Doxson. Yeah, he doesn't really move me. So yeah, he is going to have the opportunity. Him and Kevin Harmon probably to possibly start. So we'll see how it goes. And as you mentioned, that chemistry with Dwayne Haskins coming out of college together, you never know. The guys, they're familiar with each other. Maybe he does. Again, I was still more of a round 3 guy for me, but
absolutely round 3.
Yeah. Absolutely. My next guy was Hollywood Brown, Marquise Brown. This is where I'm comfortable taking him. It's the guy that you may have to sit for a year. And the question is, we again go back to the same thing. Wide receivers who come out of college take a year to develop. Typically take a year, maybe 2 to develop, and he may miss this year. So you may be talking about a 3-year turnaround before you get anything out of him. You can see the talent, you can see the speed. Again, he's a small guy, 165. I mean, quite honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that he was hyped up, I might have had him even lower. But he has talent. So I think I'd be willing to pull the trigger here ahead of some of the other guys that I just don't quite like as much. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about as far as he's possibly going to fall. And to be honest, I have yet to see. Yeah, I was about to say I've yet to see him fall out of the round one. Right. But if he were to, he's not falling too far out of it. So right. Yeah, absolutely. My next guy was, or is it you or is it me?
It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. My next guy was Deebo Samuel. This is where I have him going. For me, I think that
he won't make it as far. He ain't gonna make it as far.
He's not coming this far. For me, he looks like I think he's going to be into the special teams role heavily. I think that's where he's going to be supplanted for San Francisco. I think he's going to be looking like more of a second-year player. And so as far as I'm looking at trying to get immediate production, quick production, that's the only thing that moves him down. I think he has every opportunity to play in that offense, grow in that offense. And then with all the running backs they're going to be using, how much are we getting the ball spread around is another thing. And for me, I am super on Richie James' side. I'm not saying that Deebo can't beat him, but I'm just so far.
I think our Richie Love is getting ready to get the sledgehammer, man. I don't think it's not gonna come through for us, man. He's a baller, we love him, but I don't think it's gonna happen. He's got too much now. I mean, I was gonna also mention they bought that other wide receiver, and he hasn't been working out for anybody for the last 3 or 4 years. But we did see at one point Jordan Matthews have some skill. They signed him to a contract, so now you got like 6 wide receivers that are all and kind of like the running backs. To be honest, and
he can say that he's a 49ers.
Yeah, I'm a 49ers fan, so I can. There's no superstar there. Everybody's like, we're kind of expecting. Man, I'm just having a hard. Maybe it's the workout. I think the workout kind of got my brain even worse. What is the wide receiver's name that we're talking about here? The Pettis. They got Pettis there. I think he's probably.
My boy Pettis.
Yeah. I think he's probably the top guy coming out, but you still have him. We still have Trent Taylor there. I still have Marquise Goodwin there. Jalen Hurd came in. He's a big body guy. Then you still got Kittle, probably their top guy. Just so much going on there. I just don't know if Deebo is going to come in, like you said, and do much. But Richie James, I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyhow, yeah, Deebo Samuel, this is a good pick here. I have him in the first round. I am seeing Deebo mocked in the first round for the most part. So I don't think he's going to drop to the second. So if you want him, you got to pick him. But I don't have any issue with him being mid-second either. My next guy is Damian Harris. Just off the fact that you really wish he went to a different situation. But I think the idea is they want to get a guy who can replace Rex Burkhead, which was funny to hear because I think Belichick really likes Rex Burkhead. But at the end of the day, Belichick is Belichick, and no one's over team. And as much as he likes Burkhead is often injured. So we need to bring a guy in who we know has that same skill set, maybe even a little bit better as far as a runner is concerned. And Damian Harris fits that bill. And if Sony goes down, you really got a guy who can, to me, automatically top 20 running back if they continue to use him like they use Sony Michel. And he's a capable pass catcher, so I like him mid-second round.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, he can definitely, I definitely could take him in the second round. I don't have him listed here in my rankings at second round, and I literally only put crowded backfield. That's the only thing that's keeping me from him, just all the bodies that are there, but definitely moving forward, you can see him, his usage could skyrocket, and he would be a fantastic play there. Absolutely.
Who's your guy there?
So 18 for me is Deontay Johnson for the Steelers. Their receiver that they went and drafted. You see, I heard the footballers talking about and I actually read this as well about the Steelers just having a knack for drafting these receivers, these small receivers or what have you. They're fantastic. He's a good route runner. The thing for me he's got a tough to fit into the mix. I mean, right now coming in, you expect him to be fourth string with Juju, James Washington, Moncrief, and then him. Obviously, that can change as the off season goes, but that's where he is right now. Another thing, he's 5'10", and he's only at 183.
Yeah, but same size as Antonio Brown.
Yeah. Well, I actually looked. Antonio I think he's a little bigger. And I looked at Juju because I looked at guys that were same height and ran around the same speed, around the 4.5, 4.4, what have you. Juju's 216 and Odell's 198. So you've got this guy 183. Of course, he has time to put weight on. But, just got to see, can he get the weight on, and how does he move with the weight? Does it slow him down, things of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's okay once you hit that 180 range, 175 range. And I know you kind of say, well, Oliver, you got on, Marquise Brown for being 165. Again, this is almost like heavyweight fighting or prize fighting or professional boxing. That 7, 8, 9 pounds can mean a lot between you being often crushed and being able to handle a little bit more punishment. So 180, I'm okay with that. Some of your bigger receivers are 215, somewhere around there. So if he's 5'10" and 180, he's solid enough. Yeah, he's kind of again in looks like a crowded not backfield, wide receiver core there. We'll have to kind of see what he can do. They drafted him. They used some draft capital on him. And that's kind of telling after they spent a lot of draft capital on James Washington the year before. If you had to toss up a coin here, let's say next 2 years, do you think you have more confidence in Deontay Johnson, knowing they drafted him after James Washington? Perhaps they don't think Washington can get it done.
Yeah, no, you have to think that. I kind of think I think James had a couple of issues with holding on to the ball last year when he was playing. You were excited about him, but you have to think if they, the capital that they took Johnson with, what does that say about Washington?
Yeah. All right, and who's your next guy?
Next for me is Jay Sternberger. Tight end for the Packers. I like Jace. I think he's a great receiving tight end. He's a very good route runner. They talked about in college he lined up in the slot quite often, so you can put him there. And he's 6'4", 250, had a 4.7 40, and he's going to be catching passes from Aaron Rodgers. I think that you have Jimmy Graham will obviously play this year, but I think that we will see the transition to Jace. If we don't see him on the field this year, I think definitely next year. And I think that is the tight end. We've seen what Jermichael Finley had some good years with Aaron Rodgers. So we've seen tight ends do pretty well in that offense. I think Jace can do pretty well, especially being able to line up in the slot.
Yeah. I like him a lot as well. I don't have him as a round 2 grade because I don't think he's going to get on the field that much. I think he is a 2 or 3 year play. Jimmy Graham, he is there. Not the same, obviously, Jimmy Graham as with the Saints, but he is there. I think he's going to get the snaps this year. But yeah, Jace can be definitely a great dynasty tight end. Maybe even every bit as good as T.J. Hawkinson as far as his upside is concerned, especially being with Aaron Rodgers for the next 3 or 4 years. I think Rodgers will be around for another 3 to 5 years. So, I think you'll get some production out of him. I like him a lot, absolutely. My next guy is Arcega Whiteside out of there in Philadelphia. I think that he is kind of, I kind of put him in the same sentence and the same likeness of Alshon Jeffrey. I think they're a lot alike. I'm not sure if they're perhaps thinking about life outside of Alshon Jeffrey, or they just want 2 kind of big-bodied guys on each side of the field. And I don't know. Maybe they want to run a bunch of I don't know exactly what the plan is there, but I like his skill set. And you're on a high-powered offense that's going to score a lot of points. And I don't see anybody else there that's really going to keep him off of the field. I know they got Aguilar there, but he's more of the slot kind of a guy. They let Tate go. Yeah, I like him to play a major role this year. The question is there enough to go around for him to be fantasy viable? We don't know. But Alshon has a history of injuries as well. So if he goes down, maybe this is their top guy on the outside.
Yeah, and that's what that last sentence is exactly what makes him round 3 as opposed to round 2 for me. Is if Alshon's hurt, he's definitely around 2 for me. If Alshon's playing, he's around 3. The other thing for me was the Eagles were talking about moving Aguilar. So if Aguilar got moved, he was around 2 for me. Now I'm not saying, like you said, he's more of the Alshon Jeffrey comp. So he's not going to. Aguilar being there doesn't really matter as far as JJ getting on the field. But if Aguilar was gone, that's one less person to keep him off of it, is what my thought process was. So with everybody being there, with Alshon being healthy, that's what keeps JJ in third round for me. But absolutely, I think he does have a fantastic skill set. I, as an Eagles fan, am very happy for him to be here and to see what he can do moving forward, especially after this year with Deshaun Jackson. We don't know if he's going to keep the speed next year or whatever. So I like JJ.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Who do you got?
So next for me is Justice Hill.
Okay.
We kind of talked about a little bit earlier, taking some snaps away from my boy Mark. So he's on a run-heavy offense. It's the same reasons I like Mark are the same reasons I like Justice. The opportunities there. I think that if Justice does not take over the starting role, which we both agree we don't think he will, I do think we will see him on the field quite a bit. I think if nothing else, he will split. I think
that's still a strong statement.
Yeah, and
that's still a strong statement.
It is. Yeah. I don't think. I say that I don't think it'll hurt Mark too much because he was already doing that with New Orleans, but he obviously left that, and it wasn't that he necessarily wanted to. I know he said he wanted to stay with New Orleans. He was happy where he was, so maybe that's something he's okay with doing if it comes down to that and have a conversation, whatever. But I do think Justice has the skill set to play a lot the first year, to split carries with Mark Ingram and get on the field a lot.
Yeah. He has a lot of explosion. It's kind of what the experts say about him. He just kind of hits the hole like a monster. He has the speed. He can take the top off it. A lot more speed than what you're going to see out of the other running backs there, including Mark Ingram, who may be a more polished and well-rounded running back right now. But I can see Justice Hill, getting in there and certainly carving out his role. In fact, I'm really glad you have him this high because I was able in the league that I do have Mark Ingram to pick him up in the 3rd round. Yeah, I got really, really fortunate in the 3rd round, like 3.10, something like that. So he's not on everybody's radar right now, and he probably should be because the situation there is fluid. Again, I still think Mark Ingram's a lead dog, especially starting off the year, but I think at worst he comes in and takes some of those pass catching duties because he does have the speed. So great spot for him there. Next guy is Kevin Harmon. I already kind of mentioned him a little bit. Did you want to talk about Kevin Harmon in Washington at all?
Well, just the same things as you said, potential to start and could definitely come in and get it over Terry. So, I'm with you on the same things that you mentioned.
Excellent. Next guy is Devin Singletary. It's a crowded backfield there. LaShawn McCoy is at this point in time, he's almost like a living, playing legend. I don't know if he's going to come in and get the playing time, but you also have T.J. Yeldon up there. You also have Frank Gore up there. But again, you got those two older guys who are going to have their almost be on the way out the door. I mean, it's time for Frank Gore to hang it up.
Eventually,
baby, he might go for 20 years.
As long as Gase has a job, Frank has a job.
Frank may have a job. You might be right there. But no, a lot of people. I heard at the beginning of the draft season, some people actually had Devin Singletary as one of their sleepers. He wasn't one of those guys. They said hey, he's one of the more talented guys in the draft, and they would have no problem with someone picking him up in the first round. Obviously, he dropped a little bit there, and he landed in a spot where you just don't know what's going to happen. But does his
Right.
youth and his speed and his big taking, I'm not sure if he's actually that fast. I think he has big playability. It's probably more of what he has. Does that take over some of the older guys there, like LaShawn McCoy and Frank Gore? And TJ Yeldon I think he can do it, but I don't think he's okay. I don't think he's an every down back. He's probably more the guy you want
Right.
to catch the ball. So he can maybe surprise. I don't know, but I think as long as McCoy is there, I think he's going to get. They're going to let him play it out, but he might get some run this year. I don't know.
Yeah. I look for him to be the starter in a year or two. I think that this is just their way of saying, if we can find a trade partner for McCoy, fantastic. We can move on and get Singletary in there. Well, not anymore, but the Eagles were talking about it, but that's obviously most likely not going to happen anymore. So if the trade partner doesn't work out, then you're sitting on Devin for a year. But I think that their goal is to maneuver away from McCoy. I think McCoy, like you said, McCoy and Gore are going to go out, probably together next year, whether that be done with football or somewhere else, but off the Bills, and they're going to move it. You can expect Devin to leapfrog TJ Yeldon, even though they signed him on, but you can expect that to happen. So if you're confident in your team to sit a year with Devin, I think you can have a good player, a good gem on your hands. Absolutely.
Like that guy.
So I don't. It's another health issue guy that the Redskins decided they're just gonna bring in and hope for the best with Bryce Love. That's what I've got next on my list. The health issues are a concern.
Yeah.
He tore his ACL in the regular season finale of college, but you've got another AP's getting old, who's their starter right now as Darius Geis is recovering. So, if Bryce Love recovers or is fine for this offseason, if Geis has a setback and AP has an injury or is a little trudging or what have you, Bryce Love right there sees playtime with Chris Thompson. And, with that opportunity, if you're banking on a lot of things. You have to, because if Darius Geis is healthy, that's their guy.
Yeah.
But if he's not, you can look at Bryce Love to get on the field and give you some solid numbers in his first year.
Yeah. I like it. I don't have him as a round two guy because of those injury concerns and the step back he took in his last year there at Stanford. The year before, he would have been a round one guy almost. But we kind of see him take a step back, and it probably was because of some of those injuries. Yeah, he may have a chance to. At this point in time in the draft, you're just looking for guys who may have a chance,
Right.
And behind Darius Geis and behind AP, and then also you got Chris Thompson there, who's a little bit too buried on the depth chart for me. But again, he same kind of a thing with Devin Singletary. I mean, you just may have to wait some time, and if something happens, perhaps he gets an opportunity. And it has happened before where 3-4 guys go down, and all of a sudden you got this guy sitting there. So I guess we'll see. And he's not a bad pick at all. We could gloss over my next pick because it was actually Justice Hill. We already talked about him at length. So my last guy, and I'll let you finish it all out, was Jalen Hurd. From San Francisco, we need a big body guy, and he used to be a running back. The fact that he has the feet. When you're a running back, you're used to cutting. You're used to reacting quickly. You're used to setting up the defender. When you see them in front of you, I need to get him off balance. I'm going to juke this way. I'm going to go the next way. And he had some of that, and he turned into a wide receiver. They also said they may play him a little bit at tight end. They want to move him around the field. And he's like 6'4". Yeah, it's a big guy. Mm-hmm. He has quickness, and if he can I think he can get open. He'll be a big target for Jimmy G. I like him a lot in San Francisco. I mean, as the offseason goes on, if he's picking up, because he was a converted running back if he's starting to pick up more into being an NFL wide receiver, I can see him being even more valuable. Again, there's nobody in San Francisco that, to me, is a complete alpha dog. You do have Pettis, who is coming on and who may be the number one, but he's not. It's not somebody you just can't. It's not Jerry Rice. So they can't pass him up.
Right.
If Jalen Hurd comes on, I can see him carving out a major role.
Yeah, and I'm completely there with you. When you have a player with all of these different, you have so many ways that you can use a player.
Right.
You come to a point where they're too dynamic to not put on the field in
Right.
some sort of capacity. So when you set yourself aside, and the main thing we keep talking about on this show is opportunity. So when you've got all of those skill sets, the opportunity is endless for you. So absolutely, I think that's fantastic. If they can get to the point where they're coming out in potential 3 tight end sets with Kittle, him, and Selleck, and running, it's endless end arounds with her.
It might be 4. We picked up the 2 though from Atlanta. We might have 4 tight ends on the field at the same time.
Well, yeah,
with 4 running backs. I'm not sure who's going to block, but.
Oh man, that is some fun football. 4 tight ends, 4 running. That's some fun football to watch.
Yeah.
1 center and Jimmy G. I'm excited.
I think it would be a legal formation every single time, but it'd be cool to see what happens.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I like Jalen.
How many more do you have? 1 or 2?
I've got maybe I messed up. I've actually got 3, but I can skip over this first guy. So I'll slim over Miles Boykin. He's there for me just because of the fact that if Marquise Brown can't play, then Miles Boykin is kind of the next man up to be to leapfrog into that starting position in Baltimore. He's already a good route runner.
He had an incredible spark score, incredible combine. I mean, he's an athlete.
Yeah, and I actually saw I was on SB Nation. Of course, these are, a prediction can mean anything, but they're predicting that even if he doesn't start, they think he's going to get at least 5 touchdowns. Okay. I mean, and 5 touchdowns is, I'll take that from my rookie. So, and if he ends up starting over Marquise, then that can only go up.
Absolutely.
My next guy is Alexander Madison for the Vikings.
Ooh,
I think that he has the opportunity. Well, I'm excited about him because of the opportunity to be the immediate backup for an often injured Dalvin Cook.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and I think the other guys are Mike Boone and Amir Abdullah. So I think Alexander can get right there, be second string, and if anything happens to Cook, he's the immediate starter. And then my favorite guy, and he's my favorite.
Now, I do want to say something about that. Round. You can probably get Madison in the 3rd round in the majority of drafts. I've actually seen him go just about undrafted to the end of the 3rd round, so you can probably wait a little bit on him but again, this is your guy, and you got to wait to the end of the 3rd round. This may be where you have to pick him right at the end of the 2nd, but I have seen him go mid to late 3rd round.
Absolutely, yeah. And so, my next guy, I love this guy, and I might be too excited about him because of, I don't know, something about him I really like, but it's Darwin Thompson, running back for the Chiefs. I've definitely seen him go later than round 2, but I have seen him go in round 2. And it's just, I am not a Damian Williams truther. I don't think that he holds the job all year. I think Carlos Hyde, I said that before they got Thompson. I think Carlos Hyde plays. I think Carlos Hyde gets a lot of minutes. But I think Darwin Thompson can come in and possibly fight for that role. We'll see as the offseason goes, but I think that the running back, I think it's open. I think it's more open than a lot of people are believing and taking Damian so high. And I like the opportunity for Darwin.
Yeah, I was on the chat room the other day, and there's people who were saying if you see Damian in the 3rd round, they're picking him. He did have a great stretch at the end of the year into the playoffs, and you can see what they like. Again, he's what they consider a mediocre running back in a great system. But as long as he continues to perform, I think he will go on the field. He got Carlos Hyde, who is a capable running back. He can catch. So he's going to be buried on a depth chart just a little bit there. But again, there is some opportunity there, and if he gets the opportunity in that particular system, watch out. I don't know a whole lot about him, but he couldn't land in a better offense. So if he gets a shot, you may have a little diamond in the rough there. Absolutely. All right, well, if that wraps it up for you, man, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Went a little long this evening. I want to thank the people for coming back and supporting us once again. We do want to remind you guys to like, comment, and subscribe and visit us online. And don't be afraid to be interactive with us. And again, if you want to be in the listener league with us, have a little fun, win some prizes, go ahead and drop your email. We will go ahead and send that invite out to you so we can get you in there. Dave, do you have anything else for the people?
Yeah, you guys getting that listener league if you can. We've already got some guys in there. It's been fun. We got some characters in there already.
Absolutely.
It's been real interesting. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a fun year. You guys get in there and get ready for a great season.
That's right. And as always, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. We're gonna go ahead and sign off. Have a good night.